It would help if my mic was active. What's up, peeps? How's it going on? It's me, here for a live stream. I've got my camera a bit better positioned this time, as you probably can tell. So, we're going into Karmine Corp versus SK today, and I'm going to put a bit of chill music on in the background for you guys. Hopefully it's balanced fine. I also need to make sure it gets picked up because sometimes it won't. I also don't have my chat active right now, which is surprising. Stream, I would like my... How do I add it? So yeah, by the way, if you couldn't tell, I am very, very, very tired. Hang on. Docs. Live control panel. There we go. That's the fun stuff. Cool. Can I see chat from here? Menu. I would like my chart. Chart? Chart. That's better. I can actually have it in the chat. There we go. It's a little useful. You can actually see chat. There we go. So, as we were starting, we've got Karmine Corp and SK. A little bit of music. Whether or not that's actually getting picked up is a different question. Doesn't appear it is. Technical difficulties as usual. There we go. There we go. A little bit of chill Pokemon. I might actually go for an extended track. That is very loud, even for me. Putting that so far away so you guys. I'm intrigued how loud that actually is for you guys. I might actually lower it even more, so apologies. This is the setup phase of the stream as usual. If I can get away with it being a hell of a lot more quiet, I will. I can't even hear me. Yeah, I need to lower this. Fun. Hopefully this is better. Yes, I am watching myself. Yes, I am watching myself. Yes, I am watching myself. This seems better. Whether or not you can hear me now is a different thing. But I can't hear the music anymore, so there's that. Let's go into today's stream. This seems better. Oh yeah, that sounds so much better. It's a different thing. But I can't hear the music anymore, so there we go. Welcome to the stream. Biggity buggity boo. We're doing SKKC. And you know, this is the fun one. So I'm going to open a can of whoop ass. As you do, have a drink. Put that over there. And let's get into it. Got my handy dandy pen for today. And immediately into draft we go. It's time to talk about these two teams. SK, big guy Niski, is the focus, I think, for a lot of people. He's been performing very well this year. Obviously, focus for SK on the Varus, Smolder's band. Senna is kind of the only big option left up and available. But I think we'll have to end up seeing Nor, or you go, and then that kind of leaves Cassante. But it's actually going to be Zaya, probably Rakan, or Jungle. You've also got Vi, so Vi is banned. Volley, up and available instead. It's just going to be Lovers Duo. Makes sense for that to be locked in there. You kind of tend to pair alongside the Varus. Things like Ashe, Heimer. These more like poke engages. But Maokai probably going jungle for Isma. Rel's banned. So yeah, his main engaged champion's obviously removed from the board. Volley is still open. Renata makes some sense actually to pair alongside Varus. As a whole, I think though, if you're Karmine Corp here, Zyra Khan going in with the Huawei in rotation 1, I think you kind of have to ban Nico, Ori, if you are Karmine Corp, to remove Niski's picks. Talia technically as well. I've literally just spelt not. But like, Nico, Ori, Talia. One of them 3 bans will seep through. And chances are that'll go through on here. One of the knots. They're actually banning Jace. So Cassante may get banned. What else needs picking? Jungle, Volley. Probably should be removed. A lot of the power picks, even Rumble, is still open. You've also got Lee Sin removed. I think one thing we've noticed, Viego might actually be removed as well. But like, a lot of the power picks in the LCK, it'll like the Volley, Bears. You've got your Rumbles in there. Aatrox is a big pick over in the LCK. And even Jax, to an extent. Douglas played that quite a bit during this weekend and found a lot of success with it. But, like, as a whole, the power picks that are available to teams right now do consist of things that we're seeing here compared to other regions. And it does surprise me a lot. Now, I'm going to be brutally honest. I've watched very little LCK all year, but I still understand the fact that the drafts are quite special, but there's a Viego probably coming through. Yeah. Simply put, I think now Viego coming through, you kind of need to pick a bit more safety for the mid lane. So Ori would work. I mean, you got Maokai there, so you got a ball carrying device. You actually got the double wombo combo of long range engaging ultis. You could honestly go for like an Ornn and get the trifecta of them strong engages, but go with Renekton. Safe blind probably will be Cassante here. Or Gwen. GP actually could work. GP into some of these. Like, low mobility picks like Renata and Varus would get picked off, but there's a Talia for Niski. This actually is a very roam heavy comp that SK have. Renata can get out of lane early and affect the map. Maokai's always going to be roaming. Renekton should get lane prio more than anything, and then transition that into an advantage. But yeah, as a whole, is my pen being captured? Hi. I'm just gonna do that. Don't ask why. Anywho. Draft's complete, Scion, safe top. So yeah, Renekton's always gonna have push. And my pen is being captured. Good. But essentially, Renekton's always gonna have push. You've gonna have the Maokai obviously laying down control of the jungle. I like SK's draft here. It is very powerful as we get into game. Karmine Corp fans, as always, having a good time. May not pick up as many wins as they did last year. In fact, they picked up, what, 1 win or 2 wins? 2, because they beat G2 and then their last opponent. But yeah, kind of bad. Apparently it's Doss's birthday tomorrow. So today, happy birthday, Doss. Surprising. Anyway, as the flashing lights come into our eyes, it's time for SK versus Karmine Corp. On Rift we go. And already, we're going to be looking at the starts. As it stands, the fan of 5 across either side actually going to take place on the Rift. It's a very nice start, to say the least. And realistically speaking, no one's getting cheeky wards down. I'm just checking to see if anyone will go for a sneaky ward. Nope. They have not. There we go. My pen. I changed my pen size by accidentally hitting my mouse wheel. But yeah, as it stands, the standard fan out, no one has got vision down. There's the first ward there. Gonna spot the the start technically of the Viego. However, because Maokai show topside, his start's known to be top. That ward there will spot out essentially any of the invades towards the scuttle down there on spawn. So realistically speaking, both junglers' paths are kind of known, because obviously everyone knows that both teams are starting topside. Now, what we have actually seen is a ping by Isma or someone on SK towards the Raptors and red buff. So they're assuming essentially the start of the Viego obviously knows that you technically go for that, and there's the camp being pulled. Whether or not it was spotted is a different story. But yeah, essentially SK well aware probably that this has happened, and Niski kind of playing a bit more respectful, because maybe not. He's gone for that ward there to spot the pathing into the river, and it provides him a bit of protection. And realistically speaking, it means that he is less susceptible to a lane gank from the bottom side of the map, which is great. The good thing on this side of the map, if we just take a pause here, is that essentially this ward here and the ward that we just saw Niski place here means that this bottom side of the map for SK can step forward into this tower. Because, let's be honest, Viego's gank is a straight walk at UW at early levels. He hasn't got access to the ultimate, so he can't really go into aggressive. It's either a flash into you or a essentially run at you. But chances are he'll put his E down around this wall to get the extra movement speed to come at you. Or this one. This ward basically means that this initial placing of the E will be spotted, as well as Viego stepping forward into you. You also, if you're there, should have enough time to react to A, the Rakan coming at you and going flash or Wing you. Or, realistically speaking, you can just flash yourselves to safety. You've got access at level 2 to the handshake, so you technically won't have to be at risk. And if I'm correct, where's the XP bar? So they actually are quite close to level 3. So this wave will probably tick DOS over to level 3, so bailout will come through. So as a whole, Exakick and DOS feel real safe to step forward and not be at risk of dying. Whereas other teams probably would. So yeah. There's that. Let's continue forward. Because this right now is a very good state. Just look at the path there. The Viego wrapping onto this ward that we already talked about. Niski placing that to stop any wraps down through the river or invades into his own jungle, and it also protects him. So he's stepping forward knowing full well he can't be susceptible to ganking. In fact, he's getting a lot of pressure down as bot side Varus fires out a lot of damage. The pullback not going to root. In fact, it's going to get the ghost out from X-Kick. So they were going aggressive bot side for the play. Bo and Isma, kind of their positions known by either side. Favorable trade for Viego. Obviously, a little bit more damage in the early game compared to the Maokai, who he's really relying on that Q for damage. The max health damage that it does is the only reason Maokais are kind of feared early game and towards the late game. As Isma possibly caught out, the Q gonna knock away Forcible and Flash due to Rakan. Being in a good position. Targamas there to follow up and protect his jungler. As a whole, good movers, but what that has actually led to is because Targamas stepped away from lane, it's going to mean that the wave's going to be frozen in an awkward position for Karmine Corp. And bleeding CS in that bot side. Already a hefty CSD can be seen between the two bot laners. And I mean, technically it's a little less because of the way that the Rakan has taken CS instead of hitting the Renata. But yeah, as a whole, the trade favors essentially SK as the farm just is so much more in favor of Exekick and DOS. Now, early pressure in the mid lane, Thiniski has allowed for this play for the grubs for Isma. And it was known there was a warden pit, so this is kind of the losing side of the play for SK, is they lose access to their bottom jungle. Now, Bo, a little bit slow to the play, is going to lose out on stealing all the little raptors, but this is the big issue, is they're going to look to catch out Niski. A lot of damage down, the seismic shove going to force away any chasers, but here comes Hui. He landed the ult onto the Maokai, trying to hit it onto Talia, but it does enough to allow for Bo to get the first blood. It was just overall a protection play there by Isma to keep Niski alive, keep him in the game, as the kill actually went over to his counterpart and not the mid laner. Now, what we are noticing though is Dark Seal in the back pocket of this Hui. He will be getting more and more powerful the more kill participation he has. And it's a good early buy because you obviously get the extra stats from it initially. And with how Hui kind of works, you're not realistically being up in the front faces and susceptible to ganks. In terms of team fighting and or in lane, you can kind of just stay back with your QE, QW to poke the enemies, as well as the fact that you do have access to a Fear, a Root, all in one kit. It's great. But yeah, realistically speaking, Hui is a very hard champion to kill and to dive. So, as a whole, don't expect Isma to really make too many visits towards Niski's lane, as Hui should realistically have full control, no matter what he does. Now, getting caught out in the jungle is a different statement, as we almost saw it there, but fighting over the Skull Crab is gonna be SK gonna secure this bottom side one. And the interesting thing is, it's a casual trade of grubs for first Drake. Not typical that you see grubs fall well, actually no. It feels less typical that the grubs will be the priority. I think Drakes tend to be the sort of focus if you are building a more flat scaling comp, which SK kind of are. You've got the Talia, who realistically scales quite hard, 2-3 items, does a lot of work, as well as the Varus, having a little bit more poke potential. As looking at the build so far, pickaxe, just checking his ruins, he's probably going to actually go for the attack speed build with lethal tempo in his back pocket. Less of the lethality-esque build that you typically would see, the poke build, as others may call it. So yeah, more so the attack speed aimed to be effective in team fights, because if you look at the Karmine Corp comp, as the feathers were thrown out in the bot side, the Karmine Corp comp as a whole don't really... You realistically want to be autoing them down more than anything. You want to be in range to do that instead of poking. Because a Desire, obviously the Feather Storm, pretty good at dodging out on poke and harass if need be. As a bottom play could be coming through here. As Bo going to be caught out, but Nature's Respite's going to be thrown down by SK. Cleanse burnt out from Upset, gonna mean he avoids the hostile takeover, but the damage being thrown down onto X-Kick, almost enough to kill him. The Hui QW could have actually took him out. The meteor strike, or whatever it's called, lightning bolt. I don't remember the name of it. In fact, it's hard to know all 10 abilities. I think one of them's called Despair. Or has Despair in its name. Unrelenting Despair. Or something like that. But yeah. Back to looking at statistics. Top side, actually looking diveable. I was going to say gankable more than anything. But Scion, obviously very hard to dive because of the passive. And I think the spectral path that the Viega put down actually got spotted there, and Bo was forced to flash out. Didn't have access to ultimate, I don't think. So forced to waste that summoner. Maokai and Renekton collapsing in. Good work there by SK to get that one out. As Rakan caught out, forced to jump away, but SK get what they want. 5 grubbies. Kind of unfortunate they're not going to grab the 6th. But it is smart. And this is something junglers tend to do, or used to do a lot. When they invaded enemy jungles, they used to leave one little raptor, or one little Krug. But they changed how they work, because essentially what it did was it delayed the respawn, so the enemies couldn't actually reset their clocks. They were on a delayed timer to level up, get XP, get gold and everything. And the Void Grubs kind of are a similar thing. If you take 5, you get essentially all the bonuses, and you delay the spawn of Rift Herald, which is a very nice thing, because what that essentially means is you can contest Herald when you want to, and not be like you can deny the delay. As bot side, bailout used, the damage though not there to get the full activation of the Renata W. It's going to be a 1-for-1 trade, however, as the Viego fell, but so did the Varus. The kill, however, actually went over to the right side for Karmine Corp, as the Xayah gets caught, as the handshake, great out of DOS, lands it perfectly, as the chase down going to come through, as Niski's arriving. Not going to be able to kill off Upset. Instead, it kind of feels like Targamas going to be jumped on, rooted. Can't use the Hex Tech Gate to get away. And it's going to be another kill over to SK, making that play a winning one for them. And they also got the Void Grubs. So I'm going to slow this one down. We watch it again. It's obviously second Drake had fell, so Hex Gates are on the map. Bo takes this one to get the wraparound in behind the vision. Obviously, I'm pretty sure, just looking at the minimap right now, there's no vision for SK here. So they may have been aware. Well, obviously, these guys collapsing forward signifies that Bo's down on the spot side. But as a whole, because they were stepping up to kill the Sword, it essentially allowed for Bo to get this wraparound behind, which as a whole is very worthwhile for him, because he can set up kills for Upset, and that is the main goal as a jungler, is set up kills for your ADC. Now, once the auto attack comes through from Exekick onto Bo, it does reveal his position a little bit, because I'm pretty sure there may have been a blocking of vision here for Targamas. You can't see it. But the auto attack allows for this Spectral Maw to come through from Bo, targeting up Exekick, the ADC, the damage dealer in this 3v2. Now, on the other side of things, what we are going to end up seeing, though, is the hostile takeover being absolutely perfect. As the Rakan charms forward with the grand entrance, he just gets forced into this awkward position where he isn't going to actually no, he eats through. He doesn't even go for the W. I think he charms, eats through to the Viego, so he guarantees the charm, and that should guarantee the knock-up, which is kind of the play. However, because of how well the hostile takeover was utilized there, it gives Exokick a chance to flash away, as well as the fact that pretty sure it's Renato with the Glacial Augment. But yeah, as a whole, it was a well-worked play by SK to respond, because bailout came through in time. It was a great hostile takeover. If the hostile takeover didn't come through, that would have been a quick and easy kill onto Exokick, even if the bailout was put down. Instead, they tried to give him a chance to survive, but the Ignite's ticking. He's gonna not even get a chance to obviously auto-attack him, but because the Varus dies to the Feather Storm, actually, it means that it's a very well-worked play for Karmine Corp, because they actually execute off the big damage dealer. And they do trade their jungler for it in the play, but as a whole, on the top side, by the way, Void Grubs were just the last grub was taken by Irrelevant. But yeah, I was meant to talk about Irrelevant in this entire game, but we haven't really had chance to talk topside, have we? It's been very bot heavy, which was not how I expected it. Anyway, essentially now it's a 2v2, but damage should always favor upset here, because ADC diff versus jungler should result in extra damage. Then it's a good work here by DOS to force out the recall as the ward spots them. Then the wraparound comes through as the Weaver's Wall gets spotted. Obviously there probably would be comms, but because it's spotted there, Targamas realizes he needs to essentially sack so that the chase down onto upset doesn't continue, and we pan to topside for an immediate play as they don't have the damage. That's surprising. It's surprising they pulled off a 3v1. 4 technically, but you've obviously got Talir collapsing up. Maokai is in the river. It would have been a 3v4, but it would have been a delayed... Actually, it would have been a 4v4. It would just be slightly more delayed on the SK side. They would have collapsed in. Instead, they are starting up this Herald in vision. TP's coming through for Karmine Corp. Nature's Grass thrown out, going to try and force away the Viego. As the engage is going to come through from Eastma. He's going to get himself on top of Seiken. A very low way already to start this fight, but the first kill of the fight is going to go over to SK as SK shuts down Viego, and he gets himself the double as Sion gets sniped. Rift Herald picked up on top of it. What a fight, what a play from SK as Exokick is coming online and ready to play. Hopefully we get a replay of that one because I want to break it down. Okay. So, to start it off, let's talk positioning. 2 members of Karmine Corp on this collapse. It's going to be kind of these two versus them. So, as you can see, they're going to mark each other, obviously, on vision. So this side of the fight, kind of negate. It becomes this bot side. Nature's Grasp just means that Bo here can't get into the river. So, technically, SK's play here is to burst out the objective. So, as a whole, their buying time for Niski and for X-Kick to come up and start hitting and wailing onto the objective. That is kind of the play here, because they want to secure this as quick as possible and not give any sort of chance to Karmine Corp to fight. Because Karmine Corp should be hitting their power spikes. Now, the Scion charges through unstoppable. He's looking to hit up onto the Maokai. He gets the hit, but doesn't get the knock-up. Meaning, Isma is still able to fight. And can get in range of the objective. Now, if you look at the way Karmine Corp are positioning, these two look to be walking away. These two look to be walking in. He looks to be running away. You can start to see the issue here. SK are looking to all go in, by the way, from this position. And you just look. Immediately, you have your mid laner caught out. Seiken is jumped on by the Maokai because these guys have peeled off this way. He has stayed that way. He becomes the easy target. You've got Irrelevant collapsing in, and I'm just looking at this bottom side. Varus is probably going to take pot shots at these guys. It is, as a whole, almost like shooting fish in a barrel. So yeah, the collapse comes through. Because Seiken's caught out, it does force Karmine Corp to try and protect him. But trying to protect this way is kind of a failing play. Seiken delays his flash. I don't get why he flashes there. Because he's not able to escape. Let's be honest. You flashed deeper into the pit. Hui has no escape tools. There's nothing on his team that can protect him. He's flashing so he can ult. And try and kill the jungler. He's in a sacrificial play, but the flash seems irrelevant. Speaking of irrelevant, he gives up the chase because Hui's now rooted. He's used all his spells. So the targeting from SK just is to ignore the trapped Hui. So they play this well. And I think they immediately get so much damage down onto the Viego. He's just deleted from this play. And they get what they want out of Seiken, bear in mind. He's flashless, he's an easy target. And actually, he's being chased down now by Isma. Relevant dashed through Bow and is now looking to get onto Upset. That's his next goal. He wants to root Upset in place to allow for Niski to get a nice seismic shove and DOS to get a handshake. That's the simplistic way of explaining this play. And I think they would have got it. All things considered. Had it not been for the fact that they can't really chase through all the feathers. And snipe. Perfect. Pixel perfect from X-Kick. And sure, they don't kill off the Hui, but they realize he has no impact and can't do anything. And that is perfect team fighting from SK to a T. So now with an advantage, with Herald in their back pocket, we're sitting with what? What's the gold diff at this stage of the game? 2k. Yikes, is all I have to say. 2k advantage to the better scaling comp should mean game is going to be quite quick from this stage. You've got 15 minutes on the clock. So, no Baron. You've got Herald. That's your... and a Herald recall. I think SK are going to do well here because they've already secured push in mid lane. Isma's just hovering, ready to go for the big amount of damage. His bot side. Do you remember that flashless way? Yeah, he's being deleted. Actually, Niski almost dying here. Could die. Force flash. Will die, actually. Honestly, well played by Seiken to delay that play. That was not clean by Niski. But you get the kill. Could have been a lot worse. The collapse from Karmine Corp did come in quite quick considering where they were. But essentially, because Niski made that play, it garnered SK mid lane tier 1. And a mass amount of damage onto the mid lane tier 2. So, as a whole, I'd say worth it for SK. As we get a replay, obviously we've already discussed Seiken no flash. Seismic Shove's good, but it's here where Seiken makes the outplay, dodging the Q big boulder. As Nature's Grass lands, there's no fight here for SK. They're not in a good enough position to collapse in together. You can delay some backs, which is good, but I'm looking at the map. Realistically speaking, you're delaying backs for the tier 2 mid. Yeah, that's worth it, all things considered. Cabo trying to respond, but just going to be forced back under the tower. You can Q the wave, but it's not going to delete it. In fact, he's taking a lot of damage here. SK just bursting him out. That's actually well worked. Cabo kind of expecting to live because he's stacked up some fire cake. I've got cake on the mind. Some fire cape as well as double cloth armor. You think you'd realistically survive the Varus damage, but what we were saying earlier is this is attack speed Varus and not lethality. So he's got a lot more quick damage rather than burst. As Isma could be hunting here. Boat getting way too greedy. Yeah, forced to ult away. Pretty. I mean, did he get any of them grubs? I mean, not grubs, wolves. I don't know. If you got any wolves, I'd say worth it. However, actually, he's going to take a blue buff as well. That's worth it for an invade. But I think what we're noticing is SK just playing their comp better, executing better on the map right now. They force play. You forced a play in bot side, forcing all of Karmine Corp to go bot. Get yourself a lot of damage down onto the mid lane tier 2. Then you force the Scion to rotate down from top side that was already pushing in for SK. Force him to respond to the mid wave being pushed in by the Varus. Gets caught out and killed. SK just playing map well. And I mean, yeah, you do give up a Drake for the play. That was the latest big loss for SK. They're still winning the game and outright just pushing the map better. And I think as a whole, KC being outmatched. Now, here's an issue for Cabo is he can't lane against Niski at all. He's got no MR. Except for Merc Dreads. Niski will outright just burst you out. He's on his double needlessly, so he's going death cap second. Got his Seraph so he can survive it. Your burst, yeah. Cabo kind of cannot stay in lane against Niski. And Niski has the ability to reposition. Obviously TP in favor of Cabo. But as a whole, Niski is doing well. What he's essentially meant to do is he pushes in bot side. And then he can threaten the gank or the cutoff with the Weaver's Wall as he invades into the jungle, hiding out of the vision. Because look how little control of this area of the map Karmine Corp have. It's going back to Rogue last week in In terms of the fact that vision was very, very sparse, and these are probably the furthest wards on the map for KC. One to check the Baron, and one's a zombie. That's it. So as a whole, Karmine Corp need better ways of entering into their own jungle, because you look at it, who are their front line? Sion, who probably won't have that many wards. I want to see his vision score. 14. Honestly, quite low. But he's been sat inside all game. Not really joining up with the team for team fights. He's just been there on the map. And essentially not doing his job. Because bear in mind, Sion's meant to be frontline. And be with the team for objectives. I don't really think he's been able to join up with his team for any plays. Or use his TP effectively. And that's costing Karmine Corp, because you've basically got this sponge that's soaking all this damage and soaking the pressure. But a sponge doesn't take all the water away. It just stores it in itself. So he's still seeping pressure. And that's an issue. As Nature's Grasp is thrown out, Seiken could be caught. In fact, he's going to be forced into the Renekton. Weaver's Wall comes through. Irrelevant catches him out and gets the kill. Cabochard TP'd in. And Cabochard immediately is on the run out. No way to protect his mid laner. And I think this is what I like to call a bad play by Karmine Corp. I think this is a huge misplay. Because if we just go back to before, honestly, you see Eastman's pathing up here. The TP isn't on vision, but you know that the collapse is coming through for Seiken. Rakan's nowhere near. And he's got no way to join up. Like, yeah, you're not going to be infecting this. Unless he manages to dodge away. But you should be aware Nature's Grasp is coming through in this area. I think once Irrelevant shows, Cabo shouldn't TP. Personally. So that Vision Ward's going to spot Nature's Grasp. It'll spot Niski. They already know Irrelevant's there. Cabo hasn't TP'd yet. I think he should stay bot side, put pressure through, and get the tier 1 in the bot side. At least then you're getting standing gold. Because you're not going to be able to respond to this play. It looks like a 3v3 outright. But that TP comes in. They're trying to collapse onto Irrelevant. I think this is just a misplay overall from Karmine Corp. The Weaver's Wall comes through. It's going to be a 2v2. A delayed 2v2, obviously. TP coming through. But yeah. Seiken's basically dead before Cabo even gets there. Bo's already backed King away. Yeah. You forced to burn Flash as well. Just not worth it at all for KC to make that play. Or try and protect their mid laner. They should really learn from Humanoid. Or Fnatic. Once Humanoid gets caught out, he just is a sitting duck. Like, the rest of his team try to play the rest of the map. They don't try and protect him. They just let him die. I think that's the sort of thing that Karmine Corp need to learn. Is if your team member is caught out and your team cannot get there in time to protect him, let him die. No need to make heroics when, as a whole, you can benefit from his death. Essentially, now they've just given up, what, 150, 200 gold plus for that tower that's still standing. Maybe even if they got so far down, objective bounties would spawn. And then they go for the bot lane tier 1. That's their only winning play for that tier 1 now. But yeah. It's not looking good. Death cap complete for Niski. Targus could get a play onto Isma if they catch out the jungler. But no, Sion can't land the E. Q's miss. Seismic shove. I'm going to push him back. There's a whale. Damage is quite high onto Isma, but here comes Irrelevant. He's collapsing. And in fact, he's just going to be caught out. Misplay? Shut down over to Karmine Corp. But damage down onto Cabo. No autos put onto him. Will not die. Instead, it's a 1-for-0 trade in favor of Karmine Corp. A bit too aggressive from Irrelevant there. Gonna mean that he gets caught out and killed off. Maybe worse as Niski. Not gonna fall prey to Bo. Watching the jungler of Karmine Corp. Just retreat out the jungle. Baron Vision secured for SK. As they spot the Viego. He's forced to run away. Back to farming. For another minute 40 when the next Drake is up and available. Soul point for either team. Bear in mind, you kind of have to favor at this stage of the game SK if they can get set up around the objective. They've got the hostile takeover and the Nature's Grasp as well. The Varus poke on top of it. As a whole, it's very hard to enter an area where SK is standing their ground. Yeah. Hey, it's that bot lane tier 1 I've been talking about that could have died. Imagine that. Anyway. Just gonna take stock of things. Personally, looking at this, I'm just wanting to see lane assignments after this. Drake. Because, let's be honest, whoever wins this Drake fight probably will go to Baron. If it's a clean, crisp, massive amount of kills. And I'm trying to watch how SK enter into the river. And I think it's just brute force. Karmine Corp just backed away. The Sion's not in a position to give them frontline. In fact, he's forced the TP to join up with the rest of his team from base. That's a bit of a waste, in my opinion. I mean, sure, he gets some mid-wave, but this seems awfully aggressive. No TP left on him, so he's probably going to be forced to a bad situation. In fact, he dies without getting to do anything, really. And this is just Karmine Corp indecisiveness. They try to go towards the mid-wave, and they just get caught out. That top lane are just being out of position. Costs them. And while they're trying to sneak this objective, SK well aware it's been started. That blue trinket gonna force away the Baron sneak, and Hex Drake soul point secured for SK. I'm actually amazed how quickly this Sion health bar is being deleted, by the way. SK doing well to deal with him. Because I was initially thinking before any of the fight began that Cabo was taking a bit too much damage, and I think Seiken was wary that he was, because he dropped his WW, the shielding area, because he realized Cabo was just not backing away from the wave, and it was just in a bad position, to be honest, as well. It didn't really land onto the Scion, who could be caught out once again. Instead, it's going to be Bo hunted down. The handshake pulls him back in the force to use the ult to get away. The unstoppableness of it going to allow the Viego to get some safety, but jungler chunked means that Baron is started. Now, the good thing here for Karmine Corp is they have got vision, but they only have one TP, and that's on the Hwei, who's already coming in with the TP into the top side, but this Baron's already gone. The TP's too late, and SK secured themselves this objective for realistically nothing. No jungler, no response, nothing going the way of Karmine Corp, and in fact it looks like it's going to get worse as the seismic shove forces Bo back, as there's a hostile takeover, Nature's Grass combination, but it's not going to land is the hostile takeover. Only the root of the Nature's Grass does some work. SK looking to continue the chase. So Weaver's Wall catches Bo out, hasn't got access to that ultimate. That should be the jungler of Karmine Corp falling on this bottom side of the map. Over on the top right side, SK are going to collapse in as well. Bo gets deleted. Niski going to pick up that kill, and SK Baron in the back pockets. That's looking like a tier 2 topside, baby. Hopefully they give us a replay, because that catch out was clean, and it was perfectly executed by SK. And this harks back to the point about vision for Karmine Corp. They don't have vision in their own jungle, as SK have done a good job A in controlling it, but B, Karmine Corp's wards just seem to be very very low. Even if the Rakan has got 132 vision points, as there goes the Rakan deleted from the Rift. Just caught out and destroyed. SK gonna get themselves a tier 2 top and a kill to boot, and let's get a replay of this. So, objective secured, and at this point, if you're Karmine Corp, you're realizing, well, personally, the TP up here, way too late. Still not even here. So, you've now got these 5 members in a situation that, well, 4 members. Well, 2 of them are spotted on this ward. And that ward. You got Upset kind of pathing to join up with the rest of his team that can protect him, his front line. And then you've just got Targamas there, innit? Targamas is in an awkward position, trying to step forward, looking for play, but he can't. And this is a kind of where I'd say KC make a mistake, because instead of backing and going back to base, they just wrap around and try and catch out Irrelevant. I mean, yeah, you've spotted him, but as a whole, it don't make much sense, because Niski exists in the game. If Niski could, he should have realistically used the Weaver's Wall here and gone like so. Because how would Karmine Corp escape other than corralling themselves into the top lane? And yes, technically, you do want to delay it so you can block off the top lane path. But right now, it is a good opportunity to catch him. Instead, he's just going to follow up. Very, very early uses of Nature's Grasp and the hostile takeover. And it only lands onto one, the Sacrificial Lamb. who dodges away. Now in this situation, you've got Exokick just hunting the Scion. Kind of funny that the main damage dealer of SK isn't with the team. He's chasing the very squishy Scion. But it's a 4v4 that we're focusing on. And just looking at summoners. Yep. 2 flashes. 1, 2. So there's a minimum. You're probably expecting 2 kills here if you're SK. Because you'll probably kill Bo, who hasn't got ulti because we've already seen him use it. And you've also definitely will kill Rakan. Honestly, probably one of the worst walls I've seen. It doesn't section or kind of trap the team. It's more of a sectioning ult, which is only sectioning Bo. So they do catch a jungler. But it's like, Targamas is a bit indecisive here. He wants to go try and protect his jungler. But he should realistically stay with Upset, the smart play, and protect him. So yeah, indecisiveness still being shown by Karmine Corp. And misplays causing them to give up Baron as well as a kill. And Bo may have caught out Niski. Seismic Shove forced, but no kill just yet. Niski still being hunted. But on top side, it's irrelevant being the one caught out. Hostile takeover only lands onto 1. Please don't throw this, SK. 30 seconds until Hex Soul for SK. Targamas hasn't got his engage now. SK burned that one out with the Seismic Shove. Karmine Corp finally going to get some turret blood. Get themselves the mid lane tier 1. That's actually useful. They should probably... They actually have gotten the bot lane tier 1. Nice. This Baron, Drake should be there. It's taking them to Soul Point. And this is the difference between these two teams. An objective that Karmine Corp can't contest, that Baron. They all came in. They all flocked to it. And died. Well, their jungler died. A Drake SK know they can't take. They're in this jungle, but they're taking their camps. Niski, pathing top. It's like the map state or the objective is not what SK can contest, so they don't. And this is just smart game mechanics being shown by SK. And I think it would have been made, the call would have been made early, presumably by Niski to, like, no, we can't contest. Let's get an objective on the other side of the map, because, well, there's TPs on Karmine Corp side, so they can obviously respond to the play. But a double wave of minions going to be pushed up in towards this inhibitor tower, as that's going to be a dead DOS. Caught out, and in fact it could also be X-Kit caught out as the charm. Not going to tag up onto this Varus, as the flash was burnt out there. SK, that's something that we're starting to see as a bit of over-aggression as when it comes to wanting to fight, but they're still playing the map right. And that is an awkward sort of position. It has kind of prolonged this game a little bit, as a couple of oversteps have led to A, objectives going over, and B, kills, as somehow a bounty on Upset is starting to form. He is only 2-0-1. He's still relevant in this game. 3 items complete, building up towards that IE. Versus a 3 item Varus, who has got a lot of damage with the attack speed, building himself a bit of resistance as well. As bottling tier 2 gonna fall. SK starting to play the map. That was bad timing by Bo. He could have actually have stopped the backs, but he didn't. Realized he couldn't stop both backs. He needed to only stop one. Just mistimed it. All things considered, there was the opportunity there. And TP's coming through. It's going to be Seiken joining up with the 4 members of his team. Back going to come through for upset. As Baron is back on the table. SK kind of need to do their due diligence here. Clear out any vision in this Baron pit that's still remaining. They are stepping forward now as irrelevant. Clearing out some wards in Casey's jungle. Making it dark. It's Targamas on the flank. Looking for a play. Is going to drop a ward that will allow Cabo to come on the flank, but it may not be needed as the handshake lands. Bo going to be forced to ult backwards as Starrick's Gate's popped, and Upset kills off Bo. This is just game where it stands. Karmine Corp being deleted on the Rift as Upset gets caught and deleted by Exakick. The shutdown comes through, and SK continue to chase as the double goes through to this Varus. SK Gaming get themselves 3, and they could end it here if they continued to push. I'm intrigued what they choose to do. The low health bars dissuading them from going to Baron, but I think they can end here. The Scion doesn't have any damage. The Rakan has 0 damage. It would just be delay tactics that Karmine Corp need to use in order to get themselves a chance in this game. And there goes Targamas, deleted from the Rift. Nexus Tower 1 falls. Bo is back alive. SK, can they finish here? This is very healthy. Just taking chip damage, chunking through the health bar. They are going to catch out the Maokai, but he's still alive. Still able to run away. Bo sees the low health bars. Will he go chasing? Maybe not. The TP is going to come through. Karoshard is behind. And 3 members of Karmine Corp hunting the health bars. Deleting as Niski's falling. Shut down. But Irrelevant flashes over. Secures the double kill. And Karmine Corp back on the back foot. You have to feel here as the redemption going to top up the health bar of this Varus. Oh, Exakick firing in. Free firing to say the least. And he's going to actually just attack speed down. Legendary in this game. But he's still being hunted. Bailout used. And he's not going to be resurrected even though he almost gets Targamas. That was close. And look at Swiffer's face. Oh, the man of reactions, but the Nexus Tower falls in the end. Oh, that play. Dirty play. Let's break it down, though. Let's be honest. SK. Over-aggressive. Yet again, I've said it a lot. And I think you can tell they've been over-aggressive. Because they tried to ignore the Scion and just felt the damage. While Scion doesn't have much damage in his arsenal, he still has stuns. And said stuns are very impactful in slowing down plays and making it very hard to play. So he comes in on the flank. The Hex Gate as well allows for this collapse to come through. Irrelevant wraps himself into Upset, who, realistically speaking, Upset may have died here if Irrelevant stayed on him. But he does well. He does a lot of damage. Niski flashing over aggressive. He sees the low health bar of Upset and realizes kill the carry, win the game. But yeah, the shutdown goes over to Bo, as in picture-in-picture, you don't see it, but Hex Drake being started by SK. Karmine Corp over-aggress a little here as the bailout comes through, and it's perfect. Good work there by DOS. The bailout killing off Bo, and then obviously upset falling, means Exekick stays alive a little longer. And that is huge because it allows for another kill onto Cabochard as Hex Soul on the plate, but Bo caught out. Seismic Shove going to be avoided with the ultimate. In fact, the bailout gonna be used as Niski falls. That's Soul secured by Karmine Corp. Wow. Unexpected, to say the least, considering SK started that one up themselves. Niski falls. Bo gets in and gets the steal. Now they get to turn towards this Baron as the mid laner of SK is down. They do have an open base. Maybe SK gonna try and stop their backs. Go for a play. Niski is up in 27 seconds. Baron secured by Karmine Corp. But will it be enough? Exekick kills off Targamas already. The bailout gonna be enough to execute. And this is Karmine Corp. They found the fight. 4 members down on SK. This could be game. Baron in their back pockets. But there is quite a few turrets still left standing. Niski is back up on the map. You can use that Weaver's Wall to stop minions coming through. This could be game though. If Karmine Corp put the pressure down. There's the wall. Stopping the minion wave. And they're being diverted. Delaying the tower take. Another 20 seconds left on some of these death timers. SK are trying to hold. They over-aggress. That Seismic Shove lands onto one and they get the shutdown. Seiken's down. Niski is popping off. He gets 2 and it's just DOS left to defend. But now here comes Isma. They get the knockback. Under tower goes Bo. Cabochard can't take the Hex Gate out to safety and it's back alive is SK as Exekick kills off Karmine Corp's short-lived comeback as Targamas gonna go in. Exekick could have been caught out, but it is Cabo who inevitably falls. The attack speed too much. The chase down very, very hard to deal with. And 1 auto lands, 3 auto lands. Targamas retreating, but Irrelevant's already in the base. Already hitting the Nexus. Karmine Corp are gonna lose this game. After a short-lived comeback. 1 over-aggressive play led to another. The hostile takeover destroys Karmine Corp. And SK, unbelievable, win a game that they almost threw. I want to see his facial reaction from when they almost threw. Because, oh boy, it was close. SK nearly gave a win to a team that realistically didn't deserve it after that performance. But if you give a win over, do you realistically deserve the win if you threw? Anyway, that's going to be that. Thank you very much for joining me today. What a game. What a series. If you enjoyed it, leave a like down below. Subscribe if you're new here if you want to. I will see you guys for the predictions soon. Peace out.